Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really digging into how to get more consistent, more powerful golf shots by controlling that club face.
Yeah, and we're leaning on some great insights here from Henrik Jentsch over at Golf Academy 360 Degrees, powered by Sportsbox AI.
Right, so our mission today really is to figure out those crucial hand and wrist moves that separate the pros from, the rest of us.
Exactly. What are they doing differently? And how can you use that knowledge to actually improve your own control and your own game?
Okay, let's jump in. One of the fundamental points Henrik makes is this really direct link between the back of your left hand and the club face.
It's almost like they're one and the same, isn't it? Where that hand goes, the face tends to follow. And the tech now, like Sportsbox, can measure this incredibly precisely.
Not just feel anymore, it's measurable.
Totally. We can actually see it. And when you look at the elite players, there's this very specific sequence of wrist movements during that transition, from the top down into the swing.
Okay, so what's happening there? Jentsch talks about an initial flexing of the left wrist first.
Yeah, that's the first piece. That little bit of flexion, bowing the wrist slightly sometimes. It's critical. It helps get that club face angle set correctly, like right at the start of the downswing.
Setting the stage early then.
Exactly. And it's also huge for keeping that angle between the shaft and your arm, which is where a lot of power comes from later.
Gotcha. Okay, so flexion first. What's the next step in that sequence for the pros?
All right. After flexion, you see ulnar deviation. That's kind of like hinging your wrist downwards. Think about like hammering a nail downwards with the side of your hand.
Or like an unhinging motion almost.
Sort of, yeah. It's letting that angle go, but in a controlled way. And then following that comes supination.
Supination. That's the rotation part.
That's the rotation, yeah. Rotating the forearm and wrist to square that club face right up just as you get to the ball. It's flexion, then the downward hinge, then the rotation. Really coordinated sequence.
So for the elite player's downswing, flexion starts it off, sets the face. Then the downward hinging, which sounds like it releases stored energy.
It does. That's where you convert the lag into speed.
Then finally, that supination, the rotation to make sure the face is perfectly square at impact. The order seems absolutely vital.
Oh, absolutely critical. Get the order or the timing wrong, and that's where things go sideways. Literally. Solid, accurate shots depend on nailing that sequence.
Which kind of leads us perfectly into what often goes wrong for higher handicap players. This idea of casting comes up a lot. What is that exactly?
Casting is basically, well, it's throwing away that wrist hinge way too early from the top or very near the top of the swing. Instead of holding the angle, you're trying to hit the ball with your hands too soon.
Like throwing a fishing line.
That's a great analogy, yeah. And the big problem is doing that opens the club face prematurely. Way too early in the downswing.
Okay, so the face is already pointing right or open, way before impact.
Exactly. And then, maybe the player tries to save it late with some quick rotation or wrist flick.
Trying to roll the hands over at the last second.
Right. But usually it's just too late. The club's already moving fast, the face is open, and those last-ditch efforts often aren't enough to square it up effectively.
So you end up with those weak shots, glancing blows, balls heading off to the right.
Precisely. It's a totally different dynamic compared to the pros who are actively controlling the face through that deliberate sequence we talked about.
Yeah.
Flexion, ulnar deviation, supination.
So if we boil it down, the key takeaway seems to be mastering that correct sequence, flex first, then hinge down, then rotate, and crucially doing it at the right time in the swing.
That's the essence of it. Understanding that sequence and maybe even consciously working on it can make a massive difference to your club face control.
Better control means better consistency, better accuracy.
Definitely. It's foundational for solid ball striking.
So here's something to think about for your next practice session. Really focus on feeling that sequence in your wrist during the transition and downswing. Flexion, that downward hinge, then rotation. How might consciously working on that change how you deliver the club to the ball? It's definitely worth exploring.